You know that feeling? You spent, what, 20 minutes drafting an email?
Mm,
It's to a client you really have to impress, or maybe it's a department head you've never actually met. You've proofread it, you've checked the spelling, your mouse is hovering over the send button, and you just freeze.
the hesitation.
It's that split-second panic. You start spiraling. Did I sound too demanding? Is sincerely too archaic? Is hi just, I don't know, too familiar? It's amazing how much anxiety can fit into one little text box.
It is, but it's a rational anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Email is a high-wire act. In a face-to-face conversation, you have your tone of voice, facial expressions, body language, all these um, biological tools to soften a request or show respect. In an email, you're stripped of all that.
Completely.
We have to convey authority, nuance, and politeness entirely through text.
And if you get it wrong, you can't just, smile to smooth it over. So today, we're going to fix that. We're doing a deep dive into the art of the email. We're working from a really comprehensive guide that acts as a master key.
It really does.
It's a visual breakdown of the anatomy of a message, and it's coupled with a toolkit of 40 useful email expressions.
And we're going to move beyond just the grammar of these phrases. We really need to talk about the social signaling. This guide breaks down the interface itself, and then it provides a phrase for basically every scenario, from the delicate art of apologizing to the power move of the polite decline.
I like framing it as a toolkit. Our listeners are learners. They're often trying to navigate these complex professional environments. Efficiency is key, but so is survival.
Exactly. Using the right phrase isn't just about being nice. It's about controlling the outcome of the interaction. It's about getting what you want while maintaining the relationship.
So let's start with that visual foundation. The source material actually gives us a diagram of an email window, and it's labeled almost like a biology specimen.
Yeah.
It breaks the message down into 7 distinct parts.
And it seems basic, right?
Yeah.
But visualizing the structure helps us see the wrapper versus the actual content. You have the subject line, the greeting, and the opening at the top. That's your entry. Then the body, the meat of it. And finally, the closing and the goodbye, your exit. Every single email follows this arc.
The source uses a case study to illustrate this, and I want to spend a minute just dissecting it because it's a pretty perfect example of a standard professional email. It's from a Mike Smithers to a Barbara.
Right.
The subject line is, meeting next week. Short, functional. But here's the first little detail that caught my eye. Inside the message body, right under the greeting, Mike writes, meeting next week.
He repeats the subject.
He repeats it. Why do that? It feels, redundant.
It's a stylistic choice, but it's a functional one. Think about how people read emails now on phones in preview panes or in these long threaded conversations where the original subject line might be buried at the top of the screen.
Okay.
Putting which stands for the Latin res, meaning the thing or the matter, it anchors the conversation right there in the body. It signals, okay, we are done with the pleasantries. We are getting straight to business.
So it's a focus tool. But before he gets to that business, he does the tone check. He writes, I hope that you're well and that you enjoyed your Easter break.
This is the buffer.
Is it necessary, though? Does Mike really care about her Easter break?
Well, whether he cares deeply is sort of irrelevant. It's all about social lubrication. Think about walking into someone's office. You wouldn't just kick the door open and shout, where is the report? You'd say, hey, how's the holiday? Anyway, do you have that report? The buffer mimics that exact interaction. It signals that you view the recipient as a human, not just a vending machine for information.
I suppose without it, the text just feels incredibly transactional.
It can trigger a defensive response. If you skip the buffer, you really risk sounding aggressive, even if you don't mean to.
Let's look at the request itself in this case study. Mike writes, your suggestion regarding the agenda sounds fine. If it's all right with you, we'll meet at 4 p.m.
If it's all right with you. That is a polite assertion. He is setting the time he wants, 4 p.m. at her, but he's framing it as a proposal. He's giving her the illusion of control, which makes her more likely to agree.
And then the actual ask, could you send back those sales figures, please?
Notice the modal verb, could. Not send the figures, it's could you send. It transforms a command into a question about ability, which is so much softer.
We'll dig deeper into those request phrases in a minute, but quickly, the source also highlights the interface itself, the outbox. It points out all the buttons we use on autopilot: reply, forward, send items. And of course, the most dangerous button in the professional world,
Reply to all.
the career destroyer. The source lists it so casually, but I feel like we need a big warning label here.
It's about audience awareness. Reply is a private conversation. Reply to all is a public broadcast. And all the anxiety comes from mixing those two contexts up.
Yeah,
In a deep dive on communication, knowing when not to use a button is just as important as knowing what to type.
absolutely. Okay, let's open the toolkit. The 40 useful expressions. The source categorizes these by function. We start with the hierarchy of hello.
This is where you set the formality level for the entire interaction.
At the very, very top, we have Dear Sir Madam.
Maximum formality and maximum distance. The source notes this is specifically for someone you don't know. You're writing to a department, a complaint line, a nameless entity.
It feels a bit cold, institutional.
It is. It says, I am interacting with a role, not a person.
Then we step down a notch to Dear Ms. Smith. The source labels this as formal, but it implies you at least know who they are.
Right. You're using their title mems, Mr., Mrs. You're acknowledging their identity, but you're still maintaining a professional boundary. This is safe for clients you respect, but, aren't friends with.
And then, where most of us live these days, hi, Jennifer, or just
Hi. Informal, efficient, standard. But the risk here is mismatching. You don't hi a board of directors you've never met, and you certainly don't use Dear Sir for your teammate you sit next to. If you get that hierarchy wrong, you either look stiff or disrespectful.
Okay, so once we've opened the door, we need that buffer we talked about. The source gives us a few options. I hope you're well, or I hope that everything is going well.
These are very low-stakes openers. They don't require a real answer. Nobody expects you to actually tell them your life story. They're just the digital nod.
Even the informal how's it going acts the same way.
It just establishes a cooperative state. It says, I am friendly, before you start making your demands.
Speaking of demands, let's talk about the meat of the message. Part 3, logistics and requests. This is usually why we're emailing in the first place. The source has a specific section on attachments.
Which is good because please find attached is such a cliche. It's practically a meme at this point.
It really is. The source suggests alternatives. I've attached a summary of the products, or the attached file contains the information you're looking for.
It's active voice. You're flagging the object so the reader doesn't miss it. You're guiding their eyes to that file.
Now, the art of the ask. How do we get what we want without sounding like a dictator? The source gives us, could you send that back to me, and could you paste it in and send it?
Again, it's that word could. It suggests you're asking for a favor, not issuing a subpoena. It respects the other person's time.
There's also a phrase here for delegating. Can you let Hannah know that I'll only be in from 6 p.m. today?
That's smart. Instead of emailing Hannah directly, you're using the network. Can you let Hannah know? It's efficient, but you have to have the social capital to ask someone else to pass your message along.
Sure, you can't usually ask your boss to do that.
Not usually, no.
Scheduling is another huge friction point. The source calls this scheduling timetabling information, and this involves the delicate art of saying no.
The polite decline.
The source phrases, I'm afraid I won't be able to make tomorrow's meeting.
I'm afraid. It's such a useful linguistic tool. It's what linguists call negative politeness.
Negative politeness? What's that?
Yeah. You are expressing regret before you deliver the bad news. I'm afraid implies that I would like to come, but, some external forces are preventing me. It softens the blow and saves face for the person who invited you.
Okay, that makes sense. What if you need to change the plan? The source suggests, I was just wondering whether we could meet at 7 p.m. instead of 6 p.m.
I was just wondering.
Oh.
That is a power phrase disguised as hesitation.
It sounds so tentative, though. I was just wondering. It sounds like you aren't sure.
That's the point. If you say move the meeting to 7, you're inconveniencing the other person. You're taking value from their schedule. By saying, I was just wondering whether we could, you are minimizing your imposition. You are signaling, I know this is a hassle, and I'm asking nicely.
So it lowers the stakes.
It lowers the stakes and makes it much harder for them to get angry at the change.
It's manipulative in the best possible way.
It's diplomatic. It's about smoothing the friction of collaboration.
Then for pure updates, the source gives us the passive voice. The meeting has been postponed until next week.
Very useful when you want to avoid blame. It wasn't Bob postponed the meeting because he's disorganized. It has been postponed.
Right.
The event just happened. Nobody's at fault. It depersonalizes the bad news.
Right. Let's move to part 4, managing expectations. Because sometimes we overpromise, and, sometimes we screw up.
The future action section.
We have the standard, I'll look at the spreadsheet as soon as I can. That's the I'm on it phrase. But then there's this one, you'll have it by Friday without fail.
Danger.
Right, without fail. That sounds like a blood oath.
That is a very high-stakes phrase.
Mm-hmm.
You are putting your entire reputation on the table. If you say without fail and you miss that deadline by 10 minutes, your credibility is zero.
Wow.
You should only use that if you are 100% certain.
So don't use it as a filler. Use it as a contract.
Exactly.
On the flip side, when you do drop the ball, the source guides us on apologizing.
And we see a spectrum here, which is really important. You don't use a nuclear apology for a minor error.
Right. We have, I'm sorry I didn't get to see you last week. That's for missed connections. Or apologies for the misunderstanding. That's a good catch-all.
But look at the escalation. I'm really sorry that we didn't get to see each other.
The really factor.
It adds emotional weight. I'm sorry can be a reflex. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Signals that you value the relationship more than the transaction. You are trying to repair the social bond, not just excuse the error.
And sometimes you just need to close the loop, confirming something. The source suggests, I received the report you sent. Thanks.
Oh, this is crucial. If you don't send that, the sender's just left in limbo.
Yeah, you're wondering, did it go to junk?
Did it go to junk? Did they hate it? Acknowledgement stops that anxiety spiral. It takes 2 seconds to type, but saves the other person a day of worrying.
We're at the end of the email now. We need an exit strategy. Part 5. Closings and sign-offs.
You can't just stop typing. You need a pre-close.
The source lists. I look forward to seeing you next week, or I look forward to hearing from you soon.
These are forward-looking statements. They reaffirm that the relationship continues after this specific email ends. It kind of bridges the gap to the next interaction.
Now, we have to talk about the great yours debate. The source is very specific here about yours faithfully versus yours sincerely. And I feel like a lot of people just guess at this, or they just pick one and use it forever.
Most people get it wrong, but the rule in the source is rigid. It's a logic puzzle, really.
Okay, break it down for us.
It depends entirely on how you started. If you started with Dear Sir Madam, meaning an unknown recipient, you must end with yours faithfully.
Faithfully. It sounds like a wedding vow.
It comes from a time when you were expressing faithfulness or loyalty to an office or the crown. You serve the position, not the person. You don't know the person, so you are faithful to the correspondence itself.
But if you use their name, Dear Miss Smith, the source says you have to end with yours sincerely.
Correct. Unknown equals faithfully. Known equals sincerely.
So if I've been signing sincerely to Dear Sir, I've been insincere.
Technically, yes. You can't be sincere to a stranger. You can only be faithful to the transaction.
That is a fascinating distinction. But let's be honest, that feels very old school. For those of us who are terrified of messing that up, the source does offer some modern alternatives.
The safe zones.
Kind regards, best regards, or just regards. The source marks these as formal, but they feel ubiquitous now.
Best regards is bulletproof. It works if you know them. It works if you don't. It's professional, but it's not archaic. It's the standard shield of the modern worker.
And for the informal exit, best wishes, all the best, and my personal go-to, cheers.
Cheers is interesting. It's very Anglo-UK, Australia, but it is spreading globally. It's friendly, it's light, and it implies a sense of camaraderie. It says, we are equals.
So if we synthesize all this, what are we actually looking at? The source material is essentially giving us a set of Lego blocks.
That is the perfect analogy. You have these 40 expressions. You don't just copy-paste them randomly. You build with them.
Yeah.
You construct the exact tone you need. Do you need to be firm? Use, the meeting has been postponed. Do you need to be soft? Use, I was just wondering.
It turns email from a guessing game into a strategy game.
And it prevents that, wait, are they mad at me? Spiral. Clarity, combined with the right level of politeness, is the ultimate professional currency. You are just removing ambiguity.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave the listener with a thought. We talked about that hard line between yours faithfully for unknown people and yours sincerely for known people.
The old rule.
But think about modern email. Gmail, Outlook, LinkedIn. We almost always know who we are emailing now. Even if I'm emailing a complaint line, the software might autofill a name. The era of Dear Sir is vanishing.
That's true. The anonymity is gone. We're hyper-connected.
So, is yours faithfully destined to go extinct? If we never have a Dear Sir, because we always know it's Dear Bob, does faithfully just drop out of the English language?
It might just become a linguistic fossil, a phrase we see in history books or, legal documents, but never actually type.
Something to think about the next time you're hovering over that send button.
Indeed.
That's all for this deep dive into the art of the email. Hopefully, your next click will be a little less stressful and a lot more strategic. Thanks for listening.
Goodbye, everyone.